How important is that coverage from the press and the media going to be to the success of your business in just a second?
I'm Jay Adelson, and I'm the founder and chairman of Revision 3. I've built a number of companies. I've been hired as a CEO, and I've even been fired as one. For example, Equinix is a company I took public in 2000 and now has a market cap of over $4 billion. In 2008, I was incredibly honored to have been selected as one of Time Magazine's most influential people in the world. My goal is to pass on some of this knowledge to you, the budding entrepreneurs, and hopefully leave you with some words of wisdom. This episode of Ask Jay is brought to you by Gamefly.
Today's question comes from Sharon in Chicago, who writes, how important is PR in the launch of your new company? Public relations, PR. For those of you who aren't aware, yes, in fact, all of that news that you read on a daily basis is often engineered by people who call themselves public relations specialists or agents or advisors. Their job is to essentially take different ideas of what might be news, pitch it to reporters, and actually call them up or send them emails and say, hey, I have this thing that I think is a story, you should write about it. And that's an art, it's a science, it's all the above, and those people are great at getting you coverage in all kinds of media. And so really your question is more around that beginning stage, when you're first launching a company, how important is PR and what should you do about that? And I think the answer is actually a somewhat simple one, which is I don't really think you should be investing in PR at the very early stages of a company. And here's the general premise. If your idea is good enough, if it truly resonates with its audience, your audience is definitely going to be your first form of public relations. The very fact that they're adopting your concept as quickly as you wanted them to is going to be the news story, and that'll get picked up by the trades and by the specific press associated with your business. Spending money on PR early on, the danger with that is you can get the coverage. Believe me, a good PR agency, you spend some money, $5,000 to $15,000 a month for some retainer to have a PR agency push this stuff out to the media. You'll get the coverage sometimes well ahead of when you actually can deliver on the promise that the coverage talks about. And I've been in this situation before, believe me, where there's a lot more coverage than really the company is ready to deal with. The problem would be that then that sets a bar for people to expect from you, and when you don't hit that bar, then that's the negative story that comes later. Better to base your PR on actual execution, on actual success. So that would tend to indicate that it's best to wait until you've achieved some milestones before you invest in any kind of public relations. That being said, sometimes things happen. And this is where PR professionals are worth their weight in gold. And I'll give you a great example. At Digg, we had a situation where our users revolted against the company. This is what is commonly known as the HD DVD incident. And it was a crazy time where basically there was this issue of transparency where users were posting the secret key for cracking and copying HD DVDs. No longer relevant, thank you Blu-ray. But at the time, there was still a battle going on. And we had this letter sent to us to remove the HD DVD key and anything about it from a lawyer, and we had to decide how we were going to manage this problem. Well, the reporters started calling like crazy. And if I didn't have the advice of a PR professional, sort of crisis management, there's no way we would have managed that. And by the way, a lot of the advice was just keep your mouth shut. Don't just let some of this pass by, and then be very careful about what words you choose and how you communicate publicly. And we made those choices. We were very honest about our position in it. We were very transparent with our users, and the more transparent we were, the more our users accepted us and the revolt died down. But so this crisis management is a key opportunity for PR. Public relations is kind of like a big category, and it means a lot of different things. So independent of using a PR agency, obviously there's the question of what happens when the media calls you. That is a form of public relations. You get a call from Michael Arrington or something at TechCrunch saying, I've heard this story, is this true? And there's a whole art and process on how you manage that and how you manage information. But really, I think the nature of your question was, should I be using PR to be successful? And I would say the answer is no. You should be concentrating on execution and use other forms of communication to get your message out there. Things like using your own network, going to your own social network and having them spread the word. Using things like Twitter and Facebook, for example, are great ways to do that. And then if you have customers are an incredible way to spread the word. If they're willing to talk about your product, put it on their website, or even a press release, you don't have to pay for someone else's press release. They're going to take care of it, and they put you on a list on their press release for some kind of launch they're doing. It looks great, and meanwhile you haven't spent a dime on PR in that early stage. Anyway, in a minute we'll get to some tips and tricks around dealing with press, particularly in the early stages, but first I wanted to thank our sponsor. So we want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, GameFly.
GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website and the game is yours at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Ask J fans get a 15-day free trial when they go to www.gamefly.com/J.
My house is littered with the games that have been purchased and forgotten by my kids all the time. And as a parent, you think, all right, what was the point of that? They played it for a good month and then it's over with. With GameFly, you just send it back and get the next one, and there's really no mess. There's no boxes lying around. And if it's something that they become really into and you like as a parent, you get a discounted price on this and get it really cheap. And you get the manuals at that point, so it's a good deal. Okay, so some tips and tricks around handling public relations yourself in this early stage of the company, and what can you do if you're not going to hire a PR firm in this first stage. The first thing is you need to think about what your positioning is as a company in dealing with the public. What is, if there was one sentence that you wanted, if anyone were to write an article about you, you want to be included in that article. What is that one sentence? How do you position your company? And sometimes it's good to enlist help with this. Find people, other entrepreneurs, maybe investors, who can sit down with you and talk to you about that positioning. Because that's going to last. Once it's written, it's there forever. So start with that positioning. The other piece is, okay, so let's say I'm a reporter and I'm writing an article on your company or on the topic that your company is associated with. Come up with a list of questions that a reporter is likely to ask you. Why are you differentiated from everyone else in this space? What is it about your product that is special? And then specifics about your product. Come up with a list of those questions and go ahead and answer them on a piece of paper, on a document. We like to use these Google Docs so that multiple people can edit it in real time as the products change. And then as you edit those paragraphs, you'll use them for the whole duration of your company's life cycle, answering those questions with press. So if you are ever interviewed, it's the same message over and over again. And what happens is it becomes habitual. What you say, it's the same language, it's the same diction, and your management team over time saying the same exact thing. And that repetition is what gets that message in an article. So definitely come up with the positioning and come up with a good FAQ that will answer all of those questions. No one outside your company sees it, but you practice those answers internally. Thanks again for joining us on Ask Jay. We need your questions. Send them to askjay@revision3.com. Follow me on Twitter at @jayadelson. Ask them there. Or send a video response on YouTube. We need more video responses. Just do it. I promise you, we won't embarrass you on camera. We'll be really gentle with your video. Bring it. I just want to see it. I want to show it right here on this show. Anyway, thanks again. Until next time.